TTN presents straight from the Brit's mouth. As always, Maxwell James and Michael McKellar.
Welcome to the Two-Ton Nerds. As always, my name is Max James, and welcome to episode 2 of Straight from the Brit's Mouth. I am here joined with my co-host, Michael, all the way from the UK, which I think is really cool that we actually have adding a nice diversity to the Two-Ton Nerds YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about all kinds of cool things. We're going to be talking about Halloween 6, the producer's cut, or the Curse of Michael Myers, what horror franchise means the most to us, and as well as we kind of are doing one of those little stranded on an island scenarios. The question that will be asked, we'll get into that a little later. But first of all is that we're introduce you. Say hi, Michael.
Hi, how you doing, Matt?
I'm pretty good. This is our second episode. It's very exciting to kind of break from what we did last time to kind of more have kind of a conversation more than kind of asking each other questions and stuff like that.
Before we head up, I just want to say thank you for having me again. I had a lot of fun. You even inspired me to start my own little videos and.
Oh, no problem. And thank you. Yeah. And thank you for doing this with me, because I think this is a lot of fun. I love recording podcasts with people and just talking to them about things that I like, and hopefully the other person likes them just as much. And this is really fun to kind of do horror movies on the channel. I'm allowed to talk to another person, like I said in the previous podcast, that Scott isn't really much of a horror fan, so you kind of filled that void really well to kind of for this channel. Like, oh, thank God, because it's
you'll have a new apprentice, far younger and more powerful. I had to get one in there.
No problem. It's just fun to kind of have someone to play off to when talking to horror movies, because when I do my little horror project in October, it's just me talking about the movies. It's kind of nice to have someone to play off of. So, on to the show. Officially, me and you are big Halloween fans. That's so. And there's always, and Halloween 6 is kind of, how do you want to put it? There's two different versions of this movie. We have the theatrical version, which probably most people have seen, and there's the true Halloween fans who know about the producer's cut and what big changes that it has made from the theatrical version. To kind of do a quick sum up, it's basically the theatrical version is a slasher movie, and the producer's cut has a bunch of supernatural elements added into it, which I like. Which version do you like better?
Well, to be honest, I have like a few reasons why I like the producer's cut. Reason number one, it explains a lot of his origin, which I'm very happy with.
Yes.
A lot of things made so much more sense. And plus, like even though some of the scenes are toned down, especially with the father's death, if I'm right about that one, in that version it's slightly different to the theatrical cut. And the ending it made so much more sense, because on the other version, when Loomis screams at the end, you don't know what's happened, and then you find out why he's screaming, and it's like all that time, he spends chasing Michael, and then finding out he has the thorn on him. You can imagine what must have been going through his head. Like, he spends like so many years chasing down this dark character, and then you're the one that has to watch over you.
Yeah. It's like, because like you said, Dr. Loomis has been that one real constant factor in Michael's life throughout this up to this point, because this is the final movie for Dr. Loomis over Donald Pleasant's Dr. Loomis, because he passed away. But yeah, I totally agree. I like the producer's cut much more, because pretty much exactly what you said, because of the It just gives Michael a reason to do what he does. He's just not some mental escape patient from Smith Grove. He's just kind of stalking his sister. It actually kind of gives him like a really good reason because Freddie was a child molester and he got burnt alive, so he kind of comes back and comes back and kills the kids of the parents who killed him. And then you got Jason who comes back.
This one didn't really explain anything because a lot of them didn't make sense because when he gets to part A, Jason goes to Manhattan. That's okay, and then Jason goes to hell, and he's back in Crystal Lake. I was okay, but didn't he die in Manhattan?
Yeah,
but then that one also redeemed it because it actually gave a reason why he kept on surviving, which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
But he was going into bodies, and
which also explains. I can't remember which one it was, where he kind of went into like a coma state after falling down the mine shaft. I can't remember what. And that one guy ends up taking care of him for that long time. And it's it just explains that he just waited for that sign, the constellation thing to kind of appear. You know what I mean? It just kind of like the perfect time. So it's
if you have the 25 Years of Terror, they talk about a deleted scene that never made it, where another person goes to stick because I can't remember where it was, but he's in a different location, and some other guy goes to look at him, and he kills a different person.
Oh.
And so if you have the 25 Years of Terror, check it out. I think they talk about a few scenes that never made it, but they show you them, and it's only on that.
That's pretty cool. I haven't made it to that. I keep wanting to watch that thing because I have watched that really cool 4-hour documentary on the Jason movies, and I kind of wish they would have a really nice one for. Oh no, it was Never Sleep Again, right?
Oh, that's a good documentary.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of, and. Then the Jason one, I think that's a good one too. His name is Jason. I think that's what it's called. I think that was a pretty good one. But I think the producer's cut is definitely the superior version, just because
it's like the Holy Grail of the Halloween films.
Yeah, because it explains stuff, and without having to be gory or you know what I mean. It just. I like those kind of movies, obviously, but it's just, I enjoy it. And plus, our main character of the movie is Tommy Doyle from the little kid that Laurie Strode was babysitting from the first movie, and then you can incorporate the other side of the Strode family, the brother, and how he couldn't sell the house, and the brother knew, and the kids didn't know until the events of what happened in the movie, and so this I think Paul Rudd's first movie, I do believe.
A lot of people said he hated that movie, but that's not true. Because you said that's not true. He didn't say that at all. Because he actually did enjoy the movie. Because there's a lot of things saying, "Oh, he hated that movie," but it's simply not true.
I liked it. I always find Paul Rudd to be very entertaining,
if you look at him now, it's totally different to what he does now. It really is. I mean, he's in the 40-year-old version, Knocked Up. He's in. You wouldn't think he came from a film like that because I think that was his major first hit.
Yeah,
which got him onto the sort of movie sort of fame. Because I think he'd done a TV show before that. But up until that point, he wasn't really well known. He was called Paul Stephen Rudd.
Yeah. I think he played a pretty good trauma victim.
I would like to see him come back because he is a survivor. He's one of them that didn't get knocked off by Michael.
Yeah. Okay. Let's kind of dive into the ending of this. Spoilers, obviously.
So mute it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. There's a big spoiler alert. So we have, you kind of touched on this a minute ago. We got the theatrical version. It kind of cuts. There's two scenes that are where the theatrical and the producer's cut differ. Is when Loomis is kind of talking to Tommy Doyle and the kid, the daughter of the adoptive parents of Laurie Strode, and then it's like, where do you want us to go? It's like, just far away, and then it kind of cuts back to him, and then that's where Dr. Loomis is screaming, right? That's all you see.
And you're like, did he get killed, or?
Yeah, that's how I took it. And then in the producer's cut, it shows you what actually was transpiring down in the halls of the Smith Grove. I do believe that's where it's at.
Yeah.
So, and I think I think we should back up for a second. The reason why Michael is the way he's doing it is because it's a ritual, basically, right? The best way to describe it. It's like one family is chosen to have the mark of thorn placed upon them to save the village. It's kind of like if one it's like the needs of the one outweigh the whatever of the many, or whatever you want to put it.
Yeah.
It's like if one family dies to save the whole village, it's perfectly okay. So that's kind of how this was. That's why Michael is the way he is. He's kind of that's what the producer's cut was all about, was to show he was doing this for a specific reason rather than just going around killing people. And because he was actually he's actually hearing voices, and he actually is being driven to do this rather than just doing it just for the fun of it. So
that is true, because like when you make a horror franchise, there's only so many things you can do until someone goes, I want to know what this guy's background is, what drives this character, why do they do that, what is that motivation?
Right. That's why I like the Rob Zombie one as well, because it kind of shows you that period of time after he killed his sister, and why he's in the why he's at Smith Grove, and up to the point where he escapes and does the normal.
I want to bring up something since you mentioned the Rob Zombie one. Do you remember the scene where the nurse teases him about the photo, and she goes, "Couldn't be yours," and like I was thinking, why has this kid got a metal fork?
Oh,
why did she turn her back to him after saying that? I was like, he's got a fork right there. And you turned your back.
Yeah, that's when right after his mom and Loomis was leaving the little cafeteria, right? And
that actor, like, I don't mean to be horrible, that kid is actually really freaky looking anyway. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I think that was perfectly good casting as young Michael Myers for.
I'd even cast him as a Damien, even.
Oh man, yeah, that. Oh man, I haven't watched the Omen movies in a while. I need to check them out again. But anyways, back to Halloween. Yeah, is there anything that you want to just say about the differences? I know I'm kind of hogging this for a second.
What I did like about the producer's cut, another thing, they dragged out Jamie's sort of lifespan, if you will, and she didn't just die straight away. She lasted a bit longer.
Yeah.
And I am one of those people, I wish Danielle House isn't it. I've met her at a convention as well. She is like the loveliest person to talk to. I was just like, I'm going off a little bit of topic here, but it is about Danielle House. And when I met her, she was so tidy compared to me, and my face went red. I was just like, you're so beautiful. I was just like, and she hugged me, and I felt, I have to show it, and I'll show you it sometime. And I sort of turned around to all the other people. I was like, that's right, no. That's right. I didn't hashtag girlfriend or anything.
Speaking of, she was, when I went to Horror Hound this past year, back in 2015, she was there as well. And she was one of the few people that I wanted to see, but I was kind of running low on money, and I really wanted to get the face-off judge autographs, and I was missing Glenn because he wasn't there at the time, so I was kind of holding off, and so I was like, oh man, I totally wish I got her autograph, but I think that was the only one that I wished I would have gotten after, like, looking back on it. Just
hard at convention when the thing is, you need so much funds to go there because, like, you look around the stalls, you'd be like, oh, I want that, and then you're like looking at your money, you're like, oh,
Exactly.
it's so hard.
It's like, what was I know it's like when I went there, I was like, okay, I'm not going to spend too much. I'm going to just get a few autographs to kind of commemorate me being there. And then I ended up spending way too much. I was like, all right, I want your autograph now. I want your autograph now. And by the end of it, like,
you sort of plan what you want to do.
Yeah. And I was like, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The funniest time I went to buy a sword because they sell weapons at these things. I went to pick up Morpheus' sword from the Matrix.
Okay.
And I was like giving a little test, and I was just like, okay, how much is this? And I was like, getting my money. I had like £75 left, and they went, oh, there's £250. And I just like did the like sort of vacation sort of thing and put my money slowly back in the wallet. I was like, okay.
Nope.
No, okay. Oh, okay. Maybe you can lower it. No. Same.
Okay, that's Is there like any particular person at a convention that you liked? That was like your top person that you met so far?
I'm gonna say it's a joint one: Shawnee Smith and Clive Barker.
Oh,
I actually have the autograph as well, Clive Barker and Shawnee Smith.
For those who don't know, Shawnee Smith is from the Saw movies, right?
And also a program that you may not know, Beck, I think it's called.
Yeah, Becker. Yeah,
That's very funny.
That's how I first seen her, is through the TV show Becker, and then when she kind of showed up in the Saw movies, like, hey, that's pretty cool. I think mine, that's pretty tough because depends on like what are we talking about, like strictly like big time celebrities. Then I would probably have to put Tom Savini on that one.
You've met Tom Savini?
Yeah, I got his autograph and picture taken with him and everything. It's hanging on my wall.
Well, I'm jealous.
Oh,
I do have Daniel Harris's autograph, so I can hold that over you.
Oh, okay.
I might put above my wall right here. my beloved.
Oh man!
Don't worry, I wasn't that fan that was stalking her. That wasn't me. I swear to God.
Tom Savini. I think I'm taller than him, and I'm like, oh man. But those who don't know, obviously, if you're listening to this, you obviously like horror movies. But for those who don't know, Tom Savini is like a makeup god in the horror realm, and an actor as well. He's been in like From Dusk Till Dawn, and he played even in Dawn of the Dead. He did the makeup for Friday the 13th, the original one, and slew of others. I mean, man, he is like a wrecking. And did you ever watch his remake of the Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead?
I think I did, yeah.
I thought that was a really good one too. I like that. That's probably one of I forgot to include that one in the last podcast. Like one of my favorite remakes, so because it's kind of hard to really remake Night of the Living Dead because that's a good movie, such a good movie. Okay, well let's go back to Halloween there. Is there like anything that you didn't like about the producer's cut about it?
Oh, you see, that's a hard one to pick. I think I wish it maybe had a bit more after the ending. I know it's got a good ending thing, but I wish I knew what he kind of done in between that and H2O. Like, because like in H2O, this is where H2O messes up. He has no burns on him anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, well, we'll get onto that topic another day because H2O, it's not the best.
Oh, you don't like H2O?
Well, I prefer it over Resurrection, let's be honest. Kung Fuing Buster.
No, Buster Rhymes. Well,
like, nobody karate chops Michael Myers, come on.
Yeah, we'll save the worst of the Halloween movies for another podcast, because I'm sure we could talk to very great lengths about that.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
What did you enjoy my Halloween 3 with you?
Yes, I did. I actually totally agree with you that there's one thing that I totally agree with you 110% is that I wish there was more of the Halloween mask deaths. I was like, because you only see that one kid during like the test subject scene. Yeah. And I'm like, man, this is such a cool. I mean, like, I totally wish we've seen it on a massive scale. Like, I know it kind of leaves you kind of like, did he finally get that last commercial pulled from the air?
I thought it was one of the best endings. It was just brilliant. It's like, then he looks into the screen and he's just like, stop it. And it just,
I know.
Like, yeah. The movie like comes full circle because it's like back to the beginning of the film, and the guy's just like, "Don't I know you?" And he's just like, he's gone crazy by that time. If anyone hasn't noticed, he's actually a drunken doctor in the movie. You'll see him with packs of beer.
Yeah.
In a sleeve bag. He gets drunk. He sleeps with women. He's not such a good doctor.
It kind of tells you that's why I like watching the old '80s kind of movies and stuff like that. It kind of show you what really kind of you can get away with back then. You know, it's like, oh, this doctor's walking around with a can of beer, walking through the hospital. You know, I don't think he doesn't do that, but I'm just saying that he's like, oh, well, you know what I mean. You can just get away with more back then than you can now.
And I like the classic dad move of the broken up wife when he goes, "I got to use the mask," and then he looks so disappointed with it. It was like, "What's the matter? Don't you like him?" It's like, "Mum, what do you got one? Still the shower ones." "Oh, of course he did, yeah." The more expensive ones.
You know what? I really do want one of those masks. I
know. I want one for ages. I just want to like. You can watch a video on YouTube where it shows you the advert, and it's really weird when you're watching it because you think something's going to happen. Excuse me, that's a monster. I think something's going to happen to you. You're just like, you hear that.
That sound, that commercial is very addicting too. It gets stuck in your head.
I like the assassins in that movie actually, especially the bit when they're in the lift. And he goes reliable, unlike most humans. And that one sneezes, he's like, "Bless you." They're just so random, the assassins. They're just vacant, like.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, one of them was Dick Warlock, if people didn't know that, which probably most Halloween fans do. But if you're not a Halloween fan, he played Michael Myers in Halloween 2, and then obviously he played an assassin.
The Shape, that's what you mean?
The Shape. Mm. It's like Pinhead before he actually got his name. He was just called Lee Cenobite in the first movie.
Yeah, exactly. I think I don't know if you remember that. I remember my biggest complaint about Halloween 3, the Michael Myers Halloween edition. It was how easy. I understand the situation. I understand what was going on. Like the daughter of the guy who was killed early on in the movie, and our main character, the doctor, how easy those two kind of slept together. I mean, it was just kind of like.
Oh, the whole conversation is just like, "If you want to sleep in the car, it's better than the floor."
Yeah.
It's where do you want to sleep? And he goes, "That's a dumb question." I'm just like, "You player." Tom Atkins gets all the kills. I just love him. He's so awesome.
It wasn't even like the age difference between the two. It was just like, to me,
he goes, "How old are you?" And she goes, "I'm old enough. Trust me." And he's just like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. It just kind of came out of nowhere because I was like, okay. I mean, I'm sure that's probably why they did it. Just have a sex scene in the movie, or someone who is having sex in the movie. It's just for a horror movie.
It's not like you've seen it in any other horror movie.
I know. No, I don't know. It just, to me, it kind of felt out of place. It just, I mean, like, I wish those two were
maybe
more.
The other Halloween movies, but that one, not so much. Like.
Yeah, I mean, like, because it kind of fits within the realm of the other ones, but this one just kind of like, I kind of wish they were more of a team than more than like they've slept together. So, which makes, but then again, it kind of makes for him to kind of want to save her that much more, towards the end of the movie.
You know what I wondered as well? Whatever happened to Ellie? Because that is never actually explained. Was she always a robot, or? That was never explained. It's like always been a thing that bugged me.
I don't think she was. I think when they took her away, or I think that when they separated the two, I think that's when the conversion process took place.
That would have been cool to see some conversion thing, though. Like,
oh yeah,
it's such a thing. There's so many missed things. Like, but if you have the Scream Factory one, it's a little bit more gorier because, especially the bit where in the hospital at the end of the film, you see a lot more of that. I've noticed. And then the bit where the tramp, he gets his head pulled off, that seems a little longer too. And also Marge Gutman, you see a lot more of her face, and it's really disturbing. With all the bugs and that, you actually see it proper. Like her mouth is gone. I don't know where it is, but it's just gone.
See, that's kind of like that's kind of like the problem with me in the Halloween series is that I never really got a chance to see them like on VHS or anything like that because usually on VHS that's usually where all the true uncut ones are at, and when they finally get transferred over to DVD, things get lost and people don't want to.
Scream Factory have been really good at doing that with a lot of horror movies.
Yes. I actually I was kind of going through my movies and like, oh man, I didn't realize how many I actually had of Scream Factory. Like, oh,
very good company. I recommend it to anyone. Like, they've done The Burning, they've done Night of the Demons, they've done Halloween 2 and 3. I think they've done the box set, the big box set. But yeah, they're really good. Like, the artwork, I love the artwork, and if you actually see on my wall over there, that's the Halloween 2 Blu-ray little slipcover.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I have the Halloween 3 one as well. It's got like Cochrane on the front and the dead. I love the slipcovers for them.
And see what else is there. Okay, well, let's kind of move let's kind of go back to Halloween. You kind of touched on this. We kind of switched subject there because when you were talking about Danielle Harris, how Jamie Lloyd kind of had a prolonged scenes in the producer's cut because her death was kind of one and done in the theatrical cut, right? She was just like killed, she was like impaled on a tractor or whatever. I think there's something like that, or I can't. It's been a while since I've watched the theatrical version of it, and I should have watched both of them last night to see the difference, but I only had time to watch the producer's cut. But in the producer's cut, Jamie Lloyd actually, who is actually a prominent character in the last couple Halloween movies, 4 and 5. She has a kid and she's running away and trying to escape Michael Myers, and then Michael Myers finally catches up with her, and she ends up getting stabbed, and then they find her and they take her to the hospital and clean her up and perform surgery on her and stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, just some guy comes in there and it's like, your job is done, Jamie, and puts one in her head. Which I enjoyed because it I think it has a more better resolution to her than just being impaled on something.
Oh, this is still on the fact of Halloween. Did you enjoy the edit I showed you of my own little made up poster?
Oh, the one with you and your friend and and Michael in the back. Yeah, I love that. I thought it was pretty cool.
You know why I called it New Blood? This is clever. Like, you remember? So the baby from Halloween. Yeah. Yeah, because Michael Myers, right? Yeah. If I'm right, if the baby would be the same age as what I am now, so I named it New Blood because basically, if I was to make my own script for that, I'd be playing the character of the baby growing up, and it'd be like a new sort of. So, like, you see where I'm going with it?
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to see the continuation of their life. You know, like Tommy Doyle, that one girl, I can't always forget her name, and the baby, and her kid, and seeing how they've kind of distanced themselves from the events of Michael Myers, or I mean, I think that'd be kind of cool to see it that way. It'd be a nice, just a good story. It'd be a nice entry because it's continuing on with set of characters that's already been established, and just being, like I said, it'd just be interesting to kind of see what's going on. It's like, I can't remember which one it was. Don't they bring back one of the nurses from the first one?
Oh, yeah, in H2O.
Yeah. So I thought that was a nice little thing in there, even though she ends up getting wiped out. But it was just like, I like when they kind of bring back characters from the previous installments, or like one you have not seen in a good while. It's like, okay, but I think this current run is over because the new number 3 is coming out, I think. So
yeah, they keep getting held back. I'm just like, release it already.
I don't care.
I'm hungry.
I'm excited to see what they do with it, since it's not really going to be a Rob Zombie movie anymore.
I heard at first it was going to be somehow connected to Seasons of the Witch.
Oh,
they were going to try and connect it somehow, and I was just like, oh, how would they do that? Like,
I would be very okay with if they did like two Halloween movies, and then the next one would be a totally different one, and then continue it again with the Halloween, the Michael Myers storyline, just to kind of keep with the tradition of it. I think that'd be very interesting to do it that way. And like they could totally do a continuation of Season of the Witch. I mean, just like that group is back at it again, or in some form, taking on Halloween or using Halloween.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things that could have happened. It's just like I said, the last channel at the end of the Halloween Season of the Witch, like they could have got, like, they could have had some of these people. They could have went there and just like took the people out that control the state. You never know. They could have had. You don't know how far these like sort of like cult robots were like spread out. They could have been anywhere.
Right.
They pop up everywhere and everywhere.
Yeah,
there's a lot of theories.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, obviously one doctor ain't gonna throw stop a this kind of a cult just by himself. I mean, there has to be some bigger higher ups.
At the end, when he looks up at him, he like looks at him, he smiles. And it's a pretty smirky smile, like it's just like,
we're not done.
It's like, no, we're not done. And he gives me like a little applause, and he's just like,
you've only prolonged Judgment Day. I mean, delayed Judgment Day to kind of steal from Terminator. Okay, I think any final things on the Halloween for right now is like, for the producer's cut, that is. I mean, I think I fully enjoyed it because I thought it was just fun to see the continuation of other characters besides Laurie Strode and like Tommy Doyle. I think that was a very good choice to kind of bring him as a grown-up and see how he's...
Well, of course, Lindsay was in number 4.
Who?
Lindsay and Tommy, because they were both in the original movie. Now, the girl in the car in Halloween 4, when JB gets picked up from the school?
Yeah.
She goes, "This is Lindsay. Do you remember Lindsay?" And that's... But she goes, "Rachel used to babysit me."
Oh.
Like that. Mm-hmm. A little bit of trivia for you.
Right. Well, it's like, if I watch them again, I'll probably pick up on that now. It's just, I kind of like not knowing that kind of stuff with certain franchises. Kind of leaves me to like find them on my own, but it's fun. I think that's pretty cool. I never caught that, that's very cool. I like those little Easter egg kind of dialogue kind of stuff. Okay, moving on. Yeah, definitely. Is there any certain horror franchise that means the most to you? I mean, something, because that was because I have one that really kind of, the reason why I'm into horror as I am today is because of a certain franchise. Is there like one that's kind of like that for you? Is there like one that like, this is the one that set everything in motion?
Oh.
I can go ahead while you're thinking. That's okay. Like,
Go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead.
Mine is the Nightmare on Elm Street series. That's the one horror franchise that means the most to me, because we're old enough to live in the wave where we had to go to the video store to rent movies. You know, we actually had to, and so like, yeah, so we had to actually kind of like, oh, you get that feeling of like, oh man, my movie's out, I can't rent it today, and so I gotta try again tomorrow or another day. So, and that's kind of how I was with the what's it called, the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I would actually go to my local movies video rental store and rent every single one of them one at a time, because other people in the house had to rent movies too, so I only got like one at a time. So I was like, I think that was fun, because I would stay up late at night, watch these movies, and just have just a grand old time, just enjoying the time watching the horror movies at night. And like, in my first real late at night kind of experience watching those scary movies, like again, because when I watched, this kind of goes back to me watching Jurassic Park, because Jurassic Park was kind of like the first and last movie that really scared me, because my mom would show me this documentary on the making of Jurassic Park, and it's like, hey, you know, it's all fake, it's just movies. And I'm like, oh man, which opened the floodgates to everything. I mean, it's like, all right, now I know everything's fake, but I know that it still can be scary and entertaining. And then years later, that's when I started picking up the Nightmare on Elm Street series and enjoying them for being a horror movie, and as well as just being bloody and fun and just exciting, and also watching it at night. That also adds to the atmosphere. It's kind of like watching The Thing while it's snowing and it's dark, and when you're home alone. I think that's like the opportune time to watch some horror movies, is when it's just like terrible weather, home alone, dark. I think that's just like perfect to me. And so that's my favorite. That's what my horror franchise that means the most to me is Nightmare on Elm Street. Just because I would go to the video store and rent them and just enjoy my time watching them. And it just kind of spawned from there. Once I watched them, I started renting other horror movies, and then I just like, hey, this is fun. And plus, I was allowed to watch these kind of movies when a lot of people weren't allowed to. You know, it's like, as long as I didn't do or say what I seen on screen, I was okay. So, did you think of one yet, or?
I did actually. Up until about the age of 8, I was forbidden to watch any sort of horror movies. Like, my mum used to say, "The girls of yours don't watch any horror movies." And so one evening, when I was at my dad's, I was sitting there drinking my Coke. That was awesome. I was drinking beer at the time. He was like flicking through the channels, and Hellbound Hellraiser 2 was on. And he was just like, oh, you can't watch this. And I was like, no, wait a minute. And there was the part where she's in the hallway and the air is like stuck in her backwards.
Okay.
And she just like, she pops out of her skin and falls down a thing. And she's like going, and I'm just like, I sort of just like stare. And I'm just like, that is so cool. And I was just like, I was really fascinated by it. Like, it didn't scare me for some reason. And then after that, and then I started to watch old horror movies at first before I just started watching any horror movie came on. And then I've been like a horror fan since I was 8, and I don't know, I just opened my mind up. And certain horror movies is like, I mean, it's really weird. Like, some horror movies can relate to. It's like, I can relate to Halloween. I believe we all have a dark sort of like personality inside of us. I believe like then I can relate to Nightmare. Like we're all scared to go to sleep sometimes. It's like have anxiety sometimes, and I cannot relate to Friday the 13th at all because it's just nonsense to me. Even Hellraiser, I believe like we all have a pleasure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it can be the death of you. Like,
yeah, that's a good way. Yeah, I never really thought of it that way. I mean, when it comes to horror movies, I usually don't look too deep into them because, I mean, like some of them I love doing that with, just kind of like, oh man, because some of them do require you to really, really, really think about them, and I love those kind of horror movies as well. But like Freddy and them, I just want to watch them just be them. I just want to watch Freddy be Freddy and Jason be Jason and Michael be Michael. But there is the occasional horror movie that requires to be a little bit more in depth. Like I think the Hellraisers are a little bit more complicated. Like especially the first two, I think they are a little bit more complicated than in terms of storytelling. It's like how do I do it? It's just I think it's more adult because it is. Yeah. I mean, if you look at like Pinhead and Freddy, Freddy's more comical and like dark humor and stuff like that, and Pinhead just like he will.
He has humor, but in the sickest way.
Yeah. Hold on. Excuse me. Oh man. Sorry about that. Yeah. I think I've only Hellraiser is now my dark spot in the horror genre. I was kind of watching them through my horror Halloween thing, and then I think I kind of stopped watching them because I didn't want the illusion of how good the first few have been broken. Because I've heard that the last few are just downright terrible, and
yeah, Revelations is I think I'm gonna have a heart attack.
See, I think that was I was kind of like, that's why I was like, man,
have you seen how short Pinhead is in that? Because it doesn't have Doug Bradley in that one.
Yeah, I knew.
Smaller than me. I don't find it's just like, do you want to? It's like, oh, you open the box. It's like, mate, you're like 2 feet shorter than me.
I can push you over. Yeah, I think that was my biggest thing about not finishing the Hellraiser movies is that I didn't want the illusion of how good they were broken, because I was fully enjoying what I was watching. I think I got up to 4. I do believe that's the one I got up to.
Oh, Bloodline is a good one.
Which one?
Bloodline. I think that's the one where it goes in the future and the past, because it goes down to the John Merchant family line. Oh, and that's a pretty interesting one. Yeah, I like that one.
Okay. Okay. Then I've only watched 3. Then I think I started 4, and then I think something happened. Like I
believe Netflix has them all.
Yeah, that's what I was doing them on. That's how I was watching them. It's like, but then I was kind of like looking up. I was just kind of like reading some reviews on. I knew a few of them were just downright terrible. And like, but after watching them like for the first time, like, man, I really don't want. I just don't want to ruin them because I really like the first 3 so far that I've watched, and it's like, man, I just don't want to lose. I just don't want to break that feeling of how good those first ones were. And then, but I'm going to have to watch them eventually, just so I could really, really say to myself, like, this movie sucks. You know, it's like, so I can actually say that I've seen them all and give my honest opinion on the whole series as a whole, rather than just saying, oh, the first 3 are really good, but I'm not gonna. But is there outside of the Halloween? Is there like any other horror franchises that you really, really liked that like have more than like 4 movies?
Okay, I'm going to go with a more modern one on this one.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Saw. Okay. Because the idea of it, like the idea of the character John Kramer, he tries to kill himself. after he lost, his son. He didn't die, and then he went in the car crash and didn't die, and he got the things just like, what about all these people that just like wasting their life away, and just like, in all fairness, I root for this guy. I know it sounds sickening, but it's just like, it's true. It's just like those who don't deserve life shouldn't have it. It's just like, if you basically, it's like a rehabilitation thing goes to. He's not even a murderer. He even says to him he despises murderers. That like he places you in the trap. If you survive that, you escape. You have a new meaning in life. You appreciate your life. That's how like Amanda became one of his things. Because like she used to be a junkie. She just used to do drugs, and then she went in that trap and she came out, and then she suddenly sort of like.
Yeah, and I think the one moment that really makes you kind of like sympathize with him is when that one guy accidentally smushes his wife in the door and kills his kid. I think that's like the moment. It's like when
you see a lot of characters reappear at different timelines from other ones from the Saw movies.
Yeah,
you see a lot of them if you look carefully. They're everywhere in movies from back in the past, like before you've seen them in the traps. You got to look out for that when you watch them again. It's really good.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to do that again too. I'll have to watch it.
I'll tell you once. The bit before his wife gets hit by the baby, and he's sitting in the car, and that prostitute goes up to him, and he goes, "You're a beautiful girl. Go home." That is the girl from Saw 2 who gets her hand trapped in the little hand box. That's the woman. There. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one who should have just looked around the box. Yeah.
Yeah, that is her.
Oh.
They appear, and that's why there's little backstories, and even though you don't see much, it's just little things to show you where they've been before that.
So they're not as random as you think they are.
Yeah, because he doesn't just pick anyone random. He'll look at them. It's like the story of Dr. Gordon, he was like, I couldn't believe that he was the one all along. That still blows my mind to this day.
I was hoping he would show up again so bad in one of the later movies, because he was such a good.
Especially when that guy was lying about his things, and he's just sitting there like clapping away. It's like, you're such full of shit.
I think the Saw movies are great too. I like them. Those are good popcorn flick horror movies as well, especially to watch with people who don't like horror movies. I think those are fun to watch horror movies with people who don't like watching horror, just to see their faces.
It gets the girls to cuddle up to you, trust me.
Taken from experience.
Tip number 1, put on Saw. The rest work out.
Okay. We got a little bit of time left. We got about 10 minutes left of this. So let's move on to our final thing, the scenario thing I was mentioning earlier at the very beginning of the podcast. I kind of want to see who you choose. That's mainly why I wanted to do this. All right. Okay. The scenario is you get stranded on an island, and for somehow the two people who you get stranded with have to be a horror icon who is an actor and an actress, and the monster is just some run-of-the-mill island monster. Just something with teeth and can camouflage and all that good stuff. Kind of requires you to kind of like very Predator-ish island monster, So.
Oh shit.
Okay, so who is the two icons that you choose? One actress and one actor to help you survive this little this little scenario.
Right off the back of my head, Ash.
Okay.
Plainly for his comicalness. And he's pretty handy when it comes down to it.
I know, he always finds a way out. Even when you think he's down and out, he will find a way to walk out the front door, And your actress?
Ginger. Because I think I explained in the previous podcast that she was one of my big crushes.
Oh, from
maybe she can even sniff out because of like werewolf side. She could probably help you sniff out the creature.
That's actually a pretty good idea. I never really thought of it that way. Yeah, I think that's from Ginger Snaps, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think my 2 would be Kurt Russell from the Thing.
I came here to choose Bubblegum.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could always pick him from They Live. Oh man, those are 2 good choices. I'm gonna stick with Kurt Russell, and from McCready, and then I'm gonna pick Sigourney Weaver from Aliens as my actress. From Aliens, yeah. So to help me survive this alien monster, this island monster. So.
Yeah, she's pretty militant, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think she. I mean, I know that's kind of like the obvious female person, but like, if you down like she took on like a queen and survived, and so I was like, man, how many people can actually say that? So in the alien universe,
I killed a big whoop. I killed a queen in a few like colonies. Want to fight about it?
What?
It's like I killed an alien. It's like big whoop. I killed a queen. I killed 3, and then I killed another one.
Oh, man.
But yeah, okay, that's cute. You killed one.
Well, I think she killed 2 technically. Well, the one, in 3, she killed herself to kill that one.
Oh, yeah.
Did you like? Did I ask you that? Did you like 3? Yeah, I asked you that in the previous.
You know what? Yeah,
okay.
I do like 3 actually. I know it gets a lot of hate, that one.
Yeah. To hear what we say about that, it's in the previous podcast. I just couldn't remember if I asked you or not.
Resurrection was worse.
Yeah, I think that's. I didn't like that one as much because that one is definitely the worst. I think they should have just continued on. They didn't need to be set in the future. They didn't need to clone Ripley. I think she ran her course very well. I think she did what was necessary. She killed the queen so they couldn't bring her back and couldn't weaponize the alien thing. And
because if you think about it, at a certain point, the heroine always goes away. Like, look at Halloween. Laurie Strode eventually dies after a couple of movies. In Friday the 13th, they had that recurring Billy character. Even though he didn't die, he done like 3 movies and went. Then you got Nightmare on Elm Street, Nancy went. Then it comes to, and then you got Hellraiser. Like, you got Ashley Lawrence's character. I can't remember her name. The character's name for the life of me. My brain's going like that. But she's in a couple of them. She's like in 3 of them. And then
Kirsten or
Ripley,
Kirsten.
She's in a couple of Aliens as well.
What was that last one you said?
And then it comes to Ripley. She was in like.
Oh.
She would have been in 3. And that would have been good. And like you said, it was done dusted. She done 3 movies. She served a purpose. But I think it was like a fan thing. They wanted to see her come back somehow. So.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think 4 was more fan service for the Ripley character than anything. It's like, we'll figure a way to bring her back. And so, even though she absolutely didn't have to, I think they should have started a new strong female role. They should have like she's the one who picked up where she left off, and I think that'd been pretty cool. I think that's why did you ever play the Alien Absolution or whatever thing it was called? Like the one where you play Ripley's daughter?
Oh, Isolation.
Yeah, Isolation, that's it.
I heard it's good.
Yeah, I think that'd been kind of cool to see that storyline as well in movie form. But I mean, yeah, I think the Ripley character didn't really run its course. It just came to a good end when she fell into the molten steel, and then I think the Alien movies should have been a way of kind of showing heroines at their best, being strong female roles. So I think that'd been pretty good to see it that way, rather than just seeing her cloned again in Alien Resurrection. Let's see. I think I'll answer that question like back again. What I asked earlier. My favorite horror franchise outside of Halloween is besides Nightmare on Elm Street 2 as well. I think I have to pick I'll probably pick Jason, the Friday the 13th series, just because I think they're just fun more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what always baffles me? It's just like, every time, every movie, it all goes crystal out. It's just like, oh, there's only been about 200 deaths here. Let's get stoned and have sex here. It's just like, really? It's like, how could that one person be like, hang on a minute. Have you read the newspapers? 200 bodies here. Oh, you know what? You're right. Let's go to some camp. And then Jason Popper, like, God damn it.
I think it has
I
like.
feel sorry for Jason. I do feel sorry for him. You know, he's probably just chilling at his camp. Here comes some teeny boppers. Tripping over nothing. Which is always tripping.
It definitely has that Scooby-Doo feel to it. It's like, we know it's a man in a mask, but they're still going to do it no matter what, you know? It's like, I think it's just, I think the Jason movies are just fun. I mean, I think that's the one series that you really don't have to, like, a small backstory is great, and then people just kind of, like you said, they just keep kind of invading his territory. They should just leave him alone. He'll be fine. And,
yeah. You know, support Jason. Let him have peace this summer.
yeah. It's like, what was it? In the newer one, all he was doing was stealing kerosene and staying off to himself. And then people kind of rolled in onto his territory and got himself killed. They should just leave him alone. That's. I think.
So you can even put up a little sign that's like, "Please leave me alone this summer, and I won't kill you." It's as simple as that. Oh, Stacey, let's go skinny dipping by the lake. Just Jason Voorhees face palm.
No, that'd be great. Just him face palming himself after, like, yep, they're here. Better get out my machete, you know. Just.
I know how you feel, Freddie.
Yeah. Oh man. Is there any final thoughts you would like to say on the producer's cut? Your favorite horror? I mean, like the horror franchise that means the most, or anything that you want to add to the little scenario that I asked you? Any final thoughts?
I stand by as the producer's cut is one of the best in the franchise of Halloween. It's one of the best ones out of the 10 movies. It comes number 3 on my list of Halloween. Top line. Out of the Halloween, that is probably number 3 out of all of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely next time we will talk about which ones we definitely dislike. It's kind of, or the ones that aren't really like living up to what the previous installments had. My final thoughts is I totally agree with you. The producer's cut was very good. It definitely added a great backstory to Michael and to why he was doing what he was doing, and it. Even though I kind of wish they kind of how you want to do it, they had a. Even though I wish Donald was able to kind of end his character on a better note. I think that's my only complaint. It's like
I think he would have came back if he didn't die.
Yeah, I mean, like the next one, he could have would have been his last one for sure, and because I really liked. Okay, we'll kind of talk about him real quick. I think the Dr. Loomis character in the producer's cut was fantastic. He was the one who was kind of like he was just really good in it. I mean, that's really no way to how to describe it. He was just like. He survived all this time.
He was just because he even there's a story about his skin that he got some skin graft. He was just like he was happy, and like he was just like he like basically forgot everything basically in a sense. And then as soon as he had that radio thing, it was just like he got serious. He's like, okay, it's real.
Yeah,
there's the Loomis we all know.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I think Who do you like? Who do you like better, Michael McDowell or Donald Pleasance as Loomis?
I always go with Donald Pleasance, but I've got to say Malcolm McDowell did a very good job because when I interviewed him, he said he didn't want to watch the original ones. He wanted to do Loomis in his own way, and I think he portrayed him really well. So I do applaud Malcolm McDowell for that, who's also a brilliant actor, and I've met Malcolm McDowell too.
Oh, now I'm jealous. That's
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it kind of showed it. I think playing McDowell's version of Loomis was very different, but it fit really well within the zombie universe of Halloween. I thought it was really great. I think we have run out of time for this podcast. Yep, we're. So I think I thought this was, as always, this is just fun to talk about horror movies and just have a good starting point is horror movies, because look, we talked about conventions and who we met at conventions and like other like you were always there to put trivia in it that I never knew, which is amazing. I think that's a real highlight of the podcast, because I spend a lot of time on IMDb and just reading the trivia stuff on movies. So it's like basically as soon as I get done watching the movie, I'm on the computer reading the trivia and alternate versions and just I love reading that kind of stuff. So just hearing those are the stuff I've never seen before, and I'll definitely be looking in the background of the Saw movies. And so that's it for this episode. As always, my name is Max James. And please go subscribe to Michael O'Callahan at YouTube. I'll put his link in the description. Please, he's a new YouTuber, and he's making some really great videos on YouTube. He's talking about, he had his review of Halloween 3's on there. He talks about Death Note. And he also has a really good little video about music, right? Is that... like how people are bullied on the choice of their music and stuff like that. I think that's a really good. That was a very good topic. I think that's a very good first video. Yeah, you should definitely check him out on YouTube. Link will be in the description. And he also makes horror edits. Little like these really cool horror edits. It's at Horror Splice on Instagram, right? It's like.
_splice, yeah.
Yeah. I'll put that in the link in the description as well. Please go give him all the support you can, and he deserves it for helping me out doing this podcast. As always, my name is Max James, and we are going to go geek out.